right, we are back. Well, we're back. The video store has always been back.
Oh, yeah.
It was never closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back for a, I would say, unprecedented third season. Even though I don't know what we're gauging that against. So unprecedented in I don't know what. But whatever.
Yeah. No, it's just good to just be making time to watch movies again. I think both of us have been pretty damn busy. End of 2025 and going into 2026. It's just craziness never stops, I guess. So.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in good ways, and not always bad. Like being busy doesn't always mean that there's bad stuff going on. It's just busy is busy, and this is just like a little fun side hobby, and maybe someday will be a reality. But I guess we either have to play the stock market right or win the lotto or something. But then we can figure all this out. But
yeah.
Anyway, my name is Eli. I'm one of the co-owners and I guess co-host of Top Shelf Video.
And Jaime, I'm the other co-host. So.
Yeah, and co-owner.
Co-owner. Yeah, right.
That we're co-owner of this. It's been a busy busy end of the year, but like we were saying, in good ways, like. More than anything else, just, traveling, seeing family, watching lots of movies, playing games, playing board games too. I think I mentioned, or I was going to mention to you that I've had that game Gloomhaven for some time, and we've wanted to crack that open and play through it.
Yeah.
It's a very expansive game, and it is very dense, but I kind of convinced Denise to go through it, and it's enough where you can go through it as a 2-player, or I mean, honestly, I think you can even do it as a single-player campaign. Mm-hmm. It's basically D&D without a dungeon master, and you basically use. The only thing I don't like about it, but I mean, I understand it as I'm going to the rule book and seeing things. What I don't like about it is you don't use dice, but the dice are substituted for cards. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they do that is because that is how they substitute a dungeon master without there actually being a physical dungeon master. So you're kind of going by the scenario book that they give you, that you play out the scenario, which is like what the DM would actually tell you. But then depending on how many people are playing, then it's really the fate of the cards, like that you're flipping,
right,
and how that goes to the player that you have created and developed. And so I think that's the only way you can do it and keep it within a balanced sort of scenario. Because if you're rolling dice, you're either going to win the game too quick or you're just impossible to beat. And so I think the reason why they use cards is to have it balanced. But I think you would actually dig it. I think it's more probably for an audience like us, because we don't. I mean, there's only 2 of us here in the house.
Right.
I don't think Sally and Hank are going to be able to.
What's the max number of players? Is it like 2 to 4 or?
I think it's like I think it's like maybe like 5 tops. I think.
Okay.
But you can't have more than that.
Right.
And honestly, it may be capped at 4. If I'll have to double check, but I mean, it's pretty cool. It comes with minis, and it's like a lot of current dungeon games. It's like. You build out the board in front of you,
right?
So you're literally the scenarios that are. It comes with a really thick scenario book, which, like I said, is sort of the DM's of plan.
So good replay value.
No. It's one of those games where you play through it once, and that's pretty much it. Like, you can go back and play it again, but you would have to rebuild your character and. I mean, at that point, you've already played through some of the scenarios, so you'll know what's coming. But like the replay value is still there because you would shuffle the cards, and really, it's going to be the draw of the card. So you can technically have a different strategy, kind of going into like a scenario or something. But but you will have known the scenarios by that point because you'll play through those again. I mean, they made later versions. Like I think there's like a Winter Haven, and I think some other ones, but. This is like the original one. I think I want to say they made like maybe 1 or 2 more that were on Kickstarter at some point. But yeah, it's like a little bit of what we've kind of been doing. Kind of got into the kick after watching, some fantasy shows. We went to that. What's it called? The 20-sided die tavern.
20, yeah, the 20-sided tavern, or I've heard of something.
20-sided tavern. It's like I didn't realize it was like a Broadway show. It was like a thing that I guess they just started touring, and Denise had bought tickets over Christmas, and we went in February, and like I didn't know anything about it, to be honest. Like she bought it, and she didn't know a whole lot about it either. But she read up on it and was told that it's a lot of fun and it's like interactive, and she's like, yeah, I just want to do something different. And so we went, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Obviously it's very geared towards people that really understand D&D, but at the same time, if you're like a total noob and you've never ever explored D&D, like they actually do a pretty good job of at least giving you the I guess like the high level executive summary of how to play it, and then they're like, yeah, just follow along, it'll make sense to you. Right. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, it's almost like watching an improv group kind of go through their paces. I mean, and honestly, that's what D&D is.
Yeah, right? That's what D&D is, a lot of improv.
Yeah, but like for them, they're up on stage and they're kind of like acting / being comedic. So, and they have just like that sort of Broadway presence that I thought was kind of fun. So after we saw that, and after watching, just some movies that were kind of like fantasy based, I was just like, oh man, I want to play some D&D, and so we busted that out. But that's like some of the stuff that we've been doing, like just between then and like watching movies and whatnot. But have you been doing anything like that, or anything during the break?
It's funny actually. I still I had to make room on my desk here so we could record, but I just found a what is it? Wizards of the Coast came out with a couple box games for D&D. It's been around a while, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But because one of the campaign books is the Tomb of Annihilation, and I actually found and big shout out to Half Price Books, because all of my stuff has been at Half Price Books. So I found this for like $40, and it was still wrapped and sealed. And it's one of those like tile building games,
tile builder. Yeah. I have one of those. Yeah.
But of course my addiction is, I started looking, and it comes with 42 minis, and I was like, damn, I did the math. I'm like, man, that's like 95 cents a mini. I plus you get the game, so that's like minis I don't have to print on my 3D printer, and and there's a lot of stuff that like I didn't already have. So I'm just like, I opened the box 2 nights ago, and I'm just like, oh my God, all these minis. And I was all excited, they're going to get added to my pile of shame right now, but when I don't do a lot of New Year's resolutions, because I turn 52 in December, and New Year's resolutions are kind of like, meh, at this point it's all bullshit. But I'm going to try really hard to try to paint like 2 minis a week. And just keep building my, because I have a lot of stuff. I've got plenty of monsters to kind of keep things going. I got multiple dragons. I got an airbrush that I want to start tinkering with. So part of my what I've been doing, this particular weekend, hours before this recording, just kind of clearing out the garage. I want to make space I'd like to get like one of those rolling, like the large. I don't know how long they would be. Maybe like a 4 foot, like a tool,
like a kitchen,
like a toolbox, but it has like a nice top on it, so I can, I want to put my resin printer on there, and I'd like to get my airbrush set up, so I can, just do the stuff I've been wanting to do. I mean, I got
I was gonna say you should
probably have too many hobbies.
Well, that's like all of us, which is not a bad thing these days. But you should do like I got one of those. What is it, like they call the Billy book things from IKEA, the square looking things.
Yeah.
And I just like not one of the real long ones, but one of the mid-sized ones, and I put casters underneath it. And then I just got a flat piece of board and put it on top of it and screwed it in, and that's where my printer goes. And then underneath it, I have all that space for because those are those big square, things.
Yeah.
I just put milk crates in there with a bunch of stuff. I
hadn't thought of that. That's a great idea.
It's pretty cheap way of doing it.
Yeah,
because I agree. Like having something like I just started kind of looking at stuff, and then I was trying to maximize my space, and I was like, oh, you know what? I can do that, and that's easy enough because the casters are probably the. Well, I mean, outside of you, if you can find one of those on like Facebook Marketplace or Aftermarket or whatever it's called.
Sure.
That's where I got one, for real cheap, and I just picked it up, and then I was like, oh, I'll just throw some casters, and found a piece of wood that I had in the garage, like leftover scrap, and I made a table, and I was like, oh, that'll do. That's enough. But
yeah, I might have to look at doing that.
yeah. Speaking.
Yeah. I mean, I guess other than the board games, I got caught up on the Pit. You and Denise got me. Well, me and Karen actually, not just me, but you guys got us hooked on that. So we binge watched season 2, and then we ended up.
I would not recommend binging for anybody who's listening. Like,
we're all caught up. Yeah, man, it's fucking intense, man. It's a great show. Yeah. So yeah, we're all caught up. Good, but we flew through that to get caught up, and then we got we'd heard of Landman, but we hadn't really watched it. But because once Yellowstone, we kind of wanted something else on there. So we jumped on Landman. We ended up getting the Paramount subscription only because they give 50% off to veterans. And as it turns out, I get to watch my English League soccer as a bonus. Yeah. And then totally
Paramount, you said?
Yeah. And then as it turns out, UFC is free on Paramount. So I get, it ended up being a really good deal. So, but the main reason had been to get wrapped up with Landman. So we're all caught up with season 1, season 2. And then what was the last thing? Oh, yeah. And then we binge watched. Well, it's not over yet, but I think there's the Game of Thrones spinoff, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We're all caught up on that. It's really good. There's just enough like humor, but then it gets fucking serious, and Game of Thrones, what you would expect. Lots of swords,
violence,
violence. Yeah. So those were the three. We're kind of. I guess Landman's on a hiatus right now, but then the other two, the Pit is weekly still, I think.
Right.
And then the same with we're caught up on the Knights of the Seven Kingdom. So that's kind of what we're on right now.
We haven't started that, but I haven't really heard from anybody one way or another. So I guess we'll have to give it a shot. But speaking of your half price books and half price books and games and hobbies and whatnot. So we had a very delayed Dallas VHS swap Christmas exchange gift. Like, this is, I think we've been doing it since the pandemic. Like, basically, like during the pandemic, when we started up the Discord channel for the Dallas VHS swap, like we started meeting people like from all over the US, and I think there's a couple of people from Canada in there as well. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of were chatting, and then I think like during the holiday season, because we all kind of became pretty good, like good internet, like parasocial friends that we would talk all the time, that we were like, hey, maybe we should do like an exchange, like a Christmas exchange, and which is basically just like taking stuff from our VHS collections and swapping them with other people. And
sure.
Since most of us are like, we're thrifters, like in the sense of like we'll go to antique shops or thrift stores and find little trinkets here and there. I think we all started collecting stuff that we thought would make fun gifts, and then we started sending them to each other. And so this was like the 5th year that we've done that. But much like everybody else, like we were saying, we were everybody was kind of busy and didn't really have time, even though we all signed up and were like committed to do it. But then the holidays kind of came and went, and we all stayed in touch, and we're like, well, we should still do it, but let's do it in January. And then January became February, and then February almost became March, but we were able to sneak it in here at the end of February. And,
that's cool.
And so we all sent stuff around. Turns out like one of the people that participated, she goes to the VHS swapper, is kind of been coming for a little bit now. And it turns out she lives like, I don't know, within a mile of like where I am. And nice. So we dropped off our boxes on our front porches, and then we had our gift. We do our gift exchange on Discord, and we'll do like a video stream or whatever. But one of the things that she got me, speaking of like half price books, well, I can't say she got it at half price books, but is a full. It's like a full set. It's a Clue.
The VHS tape.
VCR mystery game. and it's fully complete. It's the box that comes with the actual
Dude, that's cool.
video. It's not the movie, but it's its own version of Clue. But yeah, the whole thing is pretty much here. It looks like it's almost like completely. It's almost fully complete with regards to like it. It's got the little.
Oh, the pads
guess,
to for your guesses on who done it.
Yeah, which I'm going to want to make some copies or at least try to, because I do want to play this, and I heard that it's actually a lot of fun. But I also want to preserve these sheets, so I might see if I can get some reprints or something.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, just make a copy of one and keep the pad intact.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's a very cool gift from her.
That is good stuff, man. That is awesome.
So yeah, but yeah, and it just kind of made me think of some of the stuff that we've kind of talked about having in the store and whatnot. But yeah, no, I mean we've kept our customers happy throughout the break and renting movies and whatnot, and all that's been good. But I think it's time to start getting back into the year and starting to figure out like what makeups or what is going to make up our top shelf for this year. I was talking to you about, and I know we talked about this a little bit when we got back together for like our wrap up for last year and sort of our coming for this year. And I kind of wanted to get, it's kind of funny to say like get back to your roots. But there has been like sort of a resurgence, I guess, that I've been reading online, which I mean makes me happy, but at the same time, like there were some things about like the era that we're talking about when it comes to video stores that won't be replicated, and we Denise and I just watched like the new Scream movie, and while it wasn't necessarily great, the idea of having like another Wes Craven or an Arnold Schwarzenegger or Canon Films.
Right.
Like, I don't know if those things will ever come back, but it is interesting that like a younger generation of like moviegoers and I guess like cinephiles and people that enjoy film, like physical media is starting to make a comeback. And there's been a lot of articles about how like people are bringing that back, and they're wanting more physical media because much like a lot of things, and it was the same way with television, is like there are so many streaming outlets and nobody ever has a consistent catalog that it like if you want to watch a movie, you don't know if you have the right streaming app. They may not have the movie that you're looking for, and then so then you have to go buy it digitally. But then even if you buy it digitally, not everybody has it for sale. And then there's some cases where like the movie itself is just not available for download anywhere.
Yeah.
And I want to say one of the movies that we're watching today, or the movie that we're going to talk about today, I don't know, like if it was very easily available on streaming. I'm lucky because I still had my old DVD of it, and so I was able to pull it out and watch it. I'm the other thing about it too is like this movie, and we're talking about the 1986 George P. Cosmatos directed movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone, is maybe one of the most iconic like video store posters. Like, ever. Yeah, like maybe ever.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets any better than that. Like when it comes to like, hey, why don't you just make a movie poster that everyone's going to want to like be enticed in. Right. And I feel like as much as like I'm reading these articles about like physical media, like people want physical media again and this and that. It's like, while I really appreciate that, and I find that that's a great thing, this is really a time when it's too bad that there is no video store, because like walking in and seeing that poster and being like, I want to rent that. Yeah. It's like, what's it about? I don't care. I just want to rent that because it looks cool. That's something that will be unfortunately missed, unless, and to the credit of physical media and some of these places that like are putting these movies out, like they're doing like a really nice job of either putting the original cover back or putting together some packaging or something that makes it look like I don't know if it needs to look like a VCR tape or whatever, but it has a certain nostalgia feel to it. So that
Yeah.
at least you're getting some value, in your physical media, because it's like anything, right? It's like a collector piece that you want to have up on your wall, or you kind of want to, show it, the
Yeah.
same way that you would with, like, I don't know, fine china. I guess, I don't know. Like for adults, when we were growing up, it's like, why do you just have plates and bowls and spoons, like, just being shown? You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, you could do that with, like, videotapes, and because the covers are cool, and
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, this is this is an iconic movie poster for
Oh yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah. It's funny, just to go back just real quick before we talk about the movie, to go back to what you were saying, how when we grew up, we could see the Canon emblem
Oh, yeah.
for a movie, and we knew what we were getting into. Same with what was it, Golden Globus?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We knew what that
Yeah.
was, and it's like I was trying to think of like what would that be for like this generation. I mean, because clearly that's in the good old days of our
Yeah.
youth, and I guess like
That's a good question.
like nowadays, I think maybe not so much the producers, or I think the generation now is going to be more like they'll just recognize like MCU or DCU,
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's not necessarily like they'll just know, like Marvel is a thing, even though like we
Right.
know
It's a
Marvel as
brand,
comic
yeah.
books, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know that many. I mean, mind you, I'm not friends with a lot of kids, but through my kids, none of them had comic books unless they were reading
Yeah.
my comic books.
Right.
And it was just because like once everything went digital, now it's like, I mean, it just, I mean, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
I mean, because I mean, I know there's other things that they look forward to a release on like Steam or the latest Madden or whatever, but like I remember like we used to look forward to like our Fridays. Remember we had a membership at the comic book store downtown, and
yeah.
we picked our comics that we wanted, and then we knew when it was that time, like we had the brown paper bag that had our names
Right.
on it with our issues of the comics we wanted.
Right.
So like we had like G.I. Joe. I think I did the Nam for a while because of Dad, and I think, so yeah, but so like that, looking forward to something like that. I mean, that and video stores, it was just to just know that my kids don't, or any kids, not just mine, but I mean, just to not have that anymore. I mean, it fucking sucks, man. I don't know what the anticipation for something like that is. Just gone.
Because we've gotten so much into the age of like everything needs to move so quickly, right? Where it's like the time it took for us to get to downtown, and I mean, there's like a lot of effort, right? And it's like you put an hour or 2 hours to do all these things and return tapes and all that stuff, and it's like, I don't want to do that, and it's like, well, actually, I kind of do, because every now and then I want to just get out of the house, like.
Oh yeah.
We're at the age, unfortunately, at the age where we go to the mall to walk around the mall. Like we go inside the mall and walk the top floor, the middle floor, and the bottom floor. Like we're not really there to shop. We just want to get out of the house for a little bit.
Yeah.
And if I could do that at a video store, man, I would do that like all day. You know what I mean? Like it's my opportunity to get out of the house, stretch my legs, like
talk to
interact with people.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Damn.
And all that stuff. And, I don't know. Maybe that day will kind of come back. But until then, this will have to suffice. And Cobra will be, well, so I bring all this up. This is like that was a very long like preamble to like the movie Cobra, because I feel like, so we watched this movie on a Saturday night. Like we literally fired up this movie at, I think like at probably about 8:00. And we went and grabbed some Whataburger because we were coming home from a movie and we didn't get to eat before. And it played out exactly how I like my Saturday nights and how I remember Saturday night. I mean, honestly, the only difference, and we probably should have gotten like a Little Caesars pizza, and watched
in
this
honor
movie
of,
because, I mean, honestly, of the video store.
Yeah, I should have gone full retro.
Yeah, we
Little
went
Caesars.
and I mean we got the next best thing, right? Which is, I guess, like we picked up Whataburger, and then we came home, and while we're firing up the movie, we're paying attention to the movie, but we're eating Whataburger. We got our dogs, and we're just kind of like hunkering in for a Saturday night. And it immediately sort of kicked in. Everything, like the whole essence of this movie feels like a Saturday night movie, because I will say this movie made no sense. And I'll be honest, I don't like when you and I talked about we should probably do this movie.
Yeah.
It's because we read the synopsis and I was telling you about a podcast that they were talking about it. And the more they kind of went on about it, I was like, wait, what? I was like,
there was a cult.
I know I've seen this movie, but I don't remember anything that's being said. And so, and which is kind of funny. So I'm gonna pull out the this time I was a little more prepared and actually opened the Psychotronic guide.
There you go. See, we're every season we're improving.
We're
tabbing shit now.
Yeah, we're improving stuff. But I will say, again, I'm a little disappointed with the Psychotronic video guide, only because, I mean, I don't.
It's in there at least, right?
There is an entry, but I am a little disappointed in the entry because I would have expected a little bit more from the Psychotronic guide, except it's it is what it is. But so this movie was produced by Warner in 1986. It was directed by George P. Cosmatos. I don't know if that name means anything to you. It means a lot to me. So George Cosmatos, he was a big director of these types of movies. I want to say he was also involved with like Conan the Barbarian, or one of the Conan movies. Mm-hmm. I want to say he was a cinematographer as well as a director. This is probably one of like his bigger known films, but like I didn't know who that was growing up. Like I would not have thought of that. But his son, Panos, his name is Panos Cosmatos, has made a couple movies now that I really like, and they are super weird and psychedelic and trippy, but they have a vibe that I just really, really dig. And I won't derail us into a conversation there, but he's done a couple things, and he's worked with Guillermo del Toro on a mini series thing. And so I forgot, or I guess I didn't really realize that this was directed by his dad. And as the son, he was like around his dad and on set. So he kind of grew up in the Hollywood sort of spotlight.
He knew what he was going to do when he grew up.
Yeah. Even though his movies are nothing like Cobra, but, so this movie, obviously it stars Sylvester Stallone. It's it's produced by, Golan and Globus. So yeah, the only, entry here, it says LA Cop, and actually I think it's either a misprint or they just didn't put a lot of detail into this, but it says LA Cop Mario Cobretti. I remember that's his last name, but it wasn't Mario. It was actually
Marion.
Marion. Yeah, but in the entry here it says Mario. Cobretti is after the Night Stalker. The serial killer uses an axe in this one, and there are lots of product plugs, which is absolutely true. With Bridget Nielsen, Andrew Robinson, Val Avery, and Art LaFleur. The perfect couple, Sly and Bridget, were also in Rocky V together, but were divorced in 1987, a canon release. And that's it. That's like the whole entry for this thing. I would have expected them to kind of go into it, but to be honest, I also didn't really fully understand everything that was happening in the movie. But let me read the back of the box on this one as well too, because I think that's why we, you and I, when we were chatting last,
the front cover is what sells it. The tagline.
The front cover absolutely sells it. Where it's crime is a disease, meet the cure. The strong arm of the law, Cobra. But yeah, I remember reading the back, and then I remember telling you, like, wait, what? I don't remember any of this. So it says, like Sylvester Stallone's Rocky and Rambo, the hero of Cobra is another great original. Lieutenant Marion Cobretti is a one-man assault force whose laser-mounted submachine gun and pearl-handed Colt 45 split pure crime-stopping venom. Spit pure crime-stopping venom. Rambo's First Blood Part 2 director George P. Cosmatos rejoins Stallone for this thriller pitting Cobra against the merciless serial killer. The trial leads to not one murder, but an angry army of psychopaths bent on slashing their way to a new order and killing the inadvertently witness Bridget Nielsen to their latest blood spree. Fortunately, Cobra is her protector. A full throttle screen full throttle screen excitement doesn't get any better. I hate to get better readers. Yeah, this again, I know I had seen this movie, and it just dawned on me what maybe I was kind of confusing this with, but I want to say I confused this movie with Sharky's Machine for some reason.
Oh, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, because I want to say they have similar themes of like the one man guy who like has his own rules and doesn't listen to his chief and blah 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 blah. Like and there were a lot of these movies, right? I mean this is this falls in the. I mean, you could even say like Lethal Weapon and movies like that. It's always the one guy who's just like, they can't contain him. And I was like,
a cop that doesn't follow the rules, even though that's kind of a fucking important thing.
Yeah, it's a super important thing.
Yeah, but they always end up in like this one, the Zombie Squad. It's like all the troublemakers they put them. Which again, I don't know if that's a good idea to put all of there's literally they just put them on the night shift. All the cops that don't follow procedure. Like, I don't think that's a fucking way to handle it, but I guess in the 80s, different times. I mean, there were, axe wielding serial killers more, I guess that was more of their hobby back in the 80s. So I guess we needed to have. But,
the only other thing that made me think of this movie was, man, I don't know how many times we were told as kids that like, don't fall into the wrong crowd. Like the guys with the tattoos and the long hair, like those are the ones that are the troublemakers. And I'm like, really? I don't know. It sounds like this Cobra guy is actually the guy that we probably should have been keeping our eye out for, because like he has full authority to just be judge, Judy, and executioner.
Yeah.
And just take out whoever he wants whenever he wants. And I mean, I will say, like, I had fun watching this movie again, eating Whataburger on a Saturday night, having a Coke, just kind of kicking back. And man, if there aren't a whole lot of movies that just they just exude what the 80s was as far as like a visual style, which is always the decade prior that bleeds into that generation, right? But like the amount of 70s that sort of falls into the 80s, and this movie came out in 86.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, I would imagine maybe it was filmed like in 84, 85, right? So you're like in the middle of the 80s. So you still have a lot of that crossover here. But like when you see movies like, Stranger Things and these other shows that try to emulate the 80s, it's like, man, they should be watching movies like this, because like this really like had a lot of the 80s. Like it just, from the hair to the cars to, I don't know, there's like a certain vibe to it, that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And also a lot of product placement like that. The Psychotronic video guy is not at all wrong when it came to that. Like he might as well have said like, I'm going to go get myself like a Pepsi, or a Pepsi Clear, or like just call out exactly what he was like, going to be drinking or whatever. But, I guess like just throughout the beats of the movie, like, it's a pretty straightforward movie. It's literally just bad guys do bad things. Woman sees bad people do bad things, becomes witness. They try to kill her. And like you said, hey, let's get the one cop who just won't listen to any of the rules to be the chaperone. Like it's
exactly.
Lots of bad decisions.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, especially like in the beginning, I mean, if you know nothing about the movie, I mean, if you're familiar with like you said, the lethal weapons and shit. I mean, the movie starts with a hostage situation and the cops are obviously following procedure. All right. And then can't get through, blah, blah, blah. So then the guy who's driving a LAPD. Like he's driving his own car.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The car was badass
like,
though. I mean, the car was badass. But it's like everybody else is in the black and whites or like the whatever the
suits,
Chrysler suit detective guy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so then but then he comes in and he just kind of like, I got it. He just kind of goes in on his own. And
they call in. There's that scene where they're like call the Cobra. Like
he's like the breaking place, break the glass guy.
He's like the nuclear option because you have no other options.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's right, because
I forgot
the
about
guy,
Cobra.
the guy who's causing all this ruckus wants the media because he wants to talk about like the new order or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and that's where the suits won't bend. And so they decide, well, we got to go, like you said, we got to break the glass and pull the our only option here, which is Cobra. And which is funny because he just kind of comes in and just fucking unloads on the place. And it's funny because the one guy, the one guy who was also he was the main guy in. Well, not the main guy, but he was one of the guys in Hellraiser. I forget which character he is. He is Detective something or other, but he's the one guy that was always like, you're out of line, Cobra. Like, you just, you gotta follow the law.
Monty, Detective Monty. He was the one that was all about the procedure and policy, and he's not following any of that shit.
Yeah. And whatever it is that Cobra's driving, even though like that thing probably weighs like 80 tons. And I would imagine it's like a V12 just to like pull that engine. But yeah, the aesthetics of like the filming, like the way when he shows up and everything, is like, if you ever wanted to parody a movie from the 80s, like this is pretty much got it all over the place, like. I never really, well, I guess it makes sense later why he's always got a match in his mouth or whatever. But, you get like, we get given the whole spiel about like, when shit gets out of control, you got to call in Cobra. And then they kind of show him living his life, where he's just like, nobody can seem to keep this guy under control. And he lives like this, almost like, I don't know, like if that's how a cop lives, he lives like a college like somebody out of a frat house when he shows up to his apartment, because there's just like crap everywhere. And like I don't know if they were supposed to be like insinuating that he's really into his job. So he has computers and technology and all this stuff, which again seems very illegal to have, like that you're just like tapping into like, other people's shit,
like the LAPD database from home.
Like what the hell? Like that seems highly illegal and whatever. But what I will say, I really liked his apartment. Like he had a pretty dope like apartment location. Yeah, because he had like that, that patio area. I guess like maybe like a common area in the apartment complex. There was like a giant Pepsi sign, and it like illuminated the whole thing. And he had like a view over LA. And I was like, oh man, that's a great. Even though it's kind of funny because I think they were trying to insinuate that his apartment was so ghetto that he lived on the roof, and it's just like a small, like a utility room plus, right? Like he doesn't have a lot of amenities or whatever. But like nowadays I'd be like, dude, that's dope. Like I would rather have that than like a crappy apartment on the third floor or whatever. Like,
it's funny. It's crazy the shit that you remember. Cause I remember when they show the scene where he goes to he deals with the guys when he's trying to park his car. And I remembered that scene, but then, then it was like, I remember when he goes into his apartment and then he pulls out the pizza box, then he pulls out the egg crate, and I immediately remember, I was like, oh, his cleaning kit's in the egg. Like, why would I don't know why would I remember that shit of a lot of because there's a lot of things I don't remember about the movie, but I remember when I saw that scene, I was like, yeah, he's gonna use scissors to cut the pizza. Yep. And he's got a cleaning kit in his egg. I don't know why that's in the fridge, but like, I guess just to show how he's all cop all the time
out there,
you know. So he just starts cleaning. he's like going to the database files and he cuts a slice of pizza, like, you know, because he's on a budget, I guess. So he can't even eat a whole fucking slice. He cuts a corner with the scissors, and like that's his meal because he's you know he's he's
literally
hard.
has to cut in corners. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
And I remember the egg. I remember that. I remember saying it out loud. I was like, oh, cleaning kit. That's right.
Yep.
But we we didn't even own guns at the age that we watched this, but I still remembered cleaning kit.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
I think like we said last time, like I know I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
And it's got to have been 35 plus years or something. But you're right. There were like moments where I was like, oh, okay, I remember what happens here. Oh, I remember what happens here.
Yeah.
But then the rest of it is super hazy, which I mean, I guess makes sense because the movie is like all over the place and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because, I mean, at least reading on the descriptions, right? This is the Night Stalker is supposed to be the leader of some cult.
Yeah.
But they never actually like really mention that in a way that actually would make sense to the viewer. I don't know. Like, I like the cutaway scenes where they'd show all these dudes with axes and they were like clinging. to axes.
That shit was cool. But they never expanded on the cult itself. Like every time they showed members of the gang or the cult, they were just like little. They were like minions. They were just like they were like, you know, they were a bunch of like you know getting killed off, like, you know, red shirts and Star Trek.
And if you looked at the group of people that were in there, like clinging their little things, like they were like doctors, like there was like a doctor and a doctor like in a whites, like, you know, or maybe
like in his scrubs and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They were just like normal. So I guess like this idea of like, oh man, he's so brainwashed him that he's got like even doctors and lawyers and cops and everything in there. But again, they don't explain that in any way, and so like nothing really makes sense. But it is funny because I forget exactly how it all plays out, but I do remember one of the things that I thought was really funny is like after Bridget Nielsen sees like this whole thing play out or whatever happens.
They're leaving a body on the side of the road.
Yeah. And then like
she's
the
driving
cops,
off. Yeah,
that's right. And she sees the Night Stalker, like literally pulls up right to him.
Yeah,
and then drives off. And so she's like the only witness, but the cops are like, oh, well, I don't know. I guess we'll have to call Cobra to do his thing. And so like Cobra with the other guy, what's his name? Sergeant Gonzalez. Sergeant Gonzalez. So they go and start like this montage of like them doing investigative work. And it shows like them. Oh yeah.
They're going into like a strip club. They're going into a bar. They're trying to like, because all the low lives that are out at night must know something about the killings.
Yeah, and so like that montage felt very Rocky, like the montage, because the music was real like 80s cheesy.
Yeah.
But the thing that really threw me off was like, so they're showing like all this like, you know, walking around at night, and then there's like intercuts between that and like robots, and like I was like, wait, what is with the robots? Like, what is going on? And then like it started to like montage between them walking around. And her taking like a photo shoot.
She was a photo shoot. Yeah, it was her like her model that she was modeling. That's right.
But like with these like weird 1930s looking robots that look like Danger Will Robinson robots. Really weird. And so like that whole thing played out, and then when it was over, I just had this note of like, what the hell photo shoot is she doing for like robots?
Like Popular Mechanics or some shit. I mean, I don't know what that would have been for.
Like sexy Popular Mechanics or like, it was really bizarre. But it is kind of funny that the whole montage is just like her doing this and then him going to like places where there's people with tattoos and they're drinking and smoking. And it's like, okay, so like which one's the dangerous one here? I'm not really sure. Even though it was funny, did you recognize the photographer that was taking those photos from,
Sledgehammer.
The robot thing? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. The guy who played Sledgehammer. And then he's dead almost like as soon as he's, you know, turns out he's a piece of shit photographer because he's
trying to sleep with the models.
Sleep with me. Yeah. In order to boost your career, you're going to have to sleep with me. And it's like, wait, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, no, that was, that just kind of leads to, crime and mischief and whatnot. But there's a lot of cool sequences that kind of play out between there and whatnot. And like I said, I think when they try to kill Cobra in his apartment complex, the only thing I really liked about that was you get a real sense of the apartment and the layout. Cause I was like, man, this is a cool apartment. Like you really can see like a really nice view of downtown LA and it's all illuminated with like neon and everything. I was like, man, I wonder who else lives like nearby Cobra. Like, cause it seems like a pretty sweet setup. You know, there's like barbecue grills and there's like little things out on the patio. And I was like, man, it seems like a good time up there. But, yeah, you know, like more stuff happens, but the one of the other things that I thought was kind of, I will say, like from a villain standpoint, I thought like they did this a couple times in the 80s, but like the people that wear, I don't know if they had like a plastic mask and then they wore like pantyhose on top of that, but whatever they were wearing that would like distort their face, where it kind of like had like this sort of weird skin texture. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the Night Stalker people, not all of them, but when they were like doing these murders, they would have like, I couldn't really get what it was because I couldn't make out their face, but it would smush their face a little bit and kind of took away some of their features. And it always like I guess like pantyhose, like, you know, sort of like stalking was kind of the thing, but it looked like they were wearing a mask, like on top of that. Yeah. And I always thought that was like a creepy look as a kid. Like it kind of creeped me out because when they tell you, I mean, like, I guess when you're a kid and you watch these sort of movies and they always say like, can you describe what they look like? And it's like, man, they look all weird and freaky with like, you know, no eyebrows and whatever, but it really was just the mask, right? Or whatever it was that they were wearing.
Yeah. I wonder what criminal thought, like how does it that, like, who decided of all things around that the pantyhose would be the like the default like the just face distorting thing for criminals? Like I can't even imagine how that even crossed someone's mind to start doing that.
Like they really went, like at some point we went really ghetto from having like an actual like full mask with the holes in the mouth, you know, that was like more for protecting yourself in the winter. I don't know, maybe they just wanted a cooler version, because cool as in like it breathed better, because like like if they wore those heavy ones, it'd be like, oh man, I'm sweating underneath here while I'm trying to do crime. But like I guess maybe the pantyhose was just had better breathing apparatus to it, you know, where they could just kind of, it's like, and I guess they're probably more cost effective. Like you can buy one egg of like
the egg, what were those called? The Nair sheer something. I don't know.
Is it because that was that commercial, right? She wears shorts. Remember that was like, because that
wasn't that for the Nair? That was like for hair removal, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought that was for the I just remember all those things kind of, but anyway, that's just
the power of commercials and marketing, because we're 50 something's going, that commercial, and we were growing up about short shorts. I was like, fuck. That just meant they had a good guy for the jingle.
Yeah, pretty much. But and enough to get criminals involved. But there's like a chase sequence about midway through the movie, which is like really good and really crazy. That's one thing I really appreciate about these 80s movies, is like, without like CG and stuff like that, like all these stunts and all these things are like, they all had to be done practically. Yeah. And which was also kind of funny how terrible of a cop this guy was, because like he's chasing after some of these cult members with like the witness, you know, tagging along. Yeah. And I was like, that's probably not a good idea. Like, but that whole chase sequence was like really good, and comes to an unfortunate demise of the really nice car. Like, because that thing goes flipping over, but like all these like scenes where they're like kind of going through a bunch of like super up and down hills or whatever, and the cars are just like flying through the air.
I mean, you've been to California a couple of times for work and stuff. Do you know what area that is? Where it's like hilly like that? It's kind of an iconic area of California, isn't it?
Well, it had a reminiscent look of San Francisco, but I don't think it was San Francisco, because I mean, honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was, because the way they were filming it too was kind of like at a lower angle. So and San Francisco definitely has a lot of downward decline. But it's kind of hard to tell because there's a lot of palm trees and there's a lot of like what appears to be LA. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's somewhere else in LA, like, or not in LA, but like maybe one of the other like Long Beach or something that's kind of down that area or something. But, yeah, it's just kind of funny because like there's that one scene where like his badass car comes flying out of the parking garage from the second floor.
Oh yeah.
And like comes flying in, and it's just like, man, this is like really good and pretty intense. Although it was funny to see the nitrous oxide or whatever, like when he kicks in the NOS, you know, to make the car
right.
like go into overdrive or whatever. Which for a moment there, I was like, man, it feels very Fast and the Furious. But when they show those slow-mo scenes of the cars like flying and just slapping onto the ground, I'm like, oh man, like they really fucked up these cars like pretty good. And then they really like destroy that one car when he goes like basically does like a barrel 360 like towards the end or whatever, which I don't know, it almost kind of felt like a character of the movie was killed or something, like because that car is so badass. But yeah, that like I said, a lot of the sequences, the stunts and stuff, that was like one thing that I was just like, man, these stunts are like really impressive. You know, I think there were a couple scenes where people get shot and they kind of like fall off balconies, and you know, they're probably falling into those like inflated, you know, things or whatever. But
oh yeah, for sure.
And then the movie just kind of ends with like a big shootout, which again feels very Hollywood, like feels like a backlot set, but which is pretty awesome. I have to say, that little, like whatever that little area was. Cool.
I don't know how. I mean, I was trying to remember how they ended up in that final. I think that was after the whole barrel roll of the car, right? But I think they just, it's conveniently like some type of place where they melt shit and there's hooks everywhere. Yeah. it was like it had hooks like it was like a meat place, but then it was going into where there was like hot molten metal.
Yeah.
And then they have the fight scene, and then of course I mean, I don't think we touched on because the new, what was it, the New Order, the New World was kind of had a little bit of everybody. So there was actually the female cop was part of she was the inside, she was the mole because she was part of the cult. So like that whole final fight scene is, you know, she's fighting, like the girls are fighting, and then Cobra's got the Night Stalker. You know, there's just all kinds of, you know.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about that.
Little everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, but, I was going to ask you about that. What you thought, like, what the hell's going on in this little rural town? Because like, it starts like in an orange orchard, like. Because Denise like, what is that? And I was like, oh, those are oranges. Like, I know what oranges look like, especially those type of trees. Because we had a lot of those growing up, like in the valley, where you'd see like fields and fields of them. And so like, I was like, okay, so I guess this little town, like maybe their whole operation is around, you know, like these oranges. And then they go from the orange field into, like you were saying, like, the only thing that Denise
like
and I
steel
could like
factory
determine,
or some shit.
Yeah, we were like, I don't know. It seems like they create explosion fire to export or something. And it's like, what do they do here? Like, there was no explanation of like heavy steel work with like giant hooks and molten like almost like molten steel. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's some sort of like underground, like I don't know, corporation that like that Sunny D was running as like some sort of like alternate way of making more money, that you know, this was like the Sunny D fields, but then in the background they were like part of some sort of like armor, like, you know, military
making weapons
complex.
And shit,
or something. Because I was like, none of this makes sense of what's kind of going on. And this movie again also like just shows how much like everything was, I guess, and maybe in the 80s I kind of remember things being highly volatile and explosive, but man, it didn't take much for like a shotgun to blow up a car and just see it go up in like literally explode, you know?
Yeah, that was a bit much, but I was like, man. I mean, it's just go with it. You know, it was
maybe there weren't as many regulations as there are now, right? Like, when they tell you to turn off your car before you get gas, but yeah, like the amount of open flame in this industrial complex, like I'm surprised that like they didn't run into RoboCop towards the end of this, because I was like, I don't know what this place is, but it seems like a place that harbors just chaos and metal and
it was just it just looks like a place that just invites climactic endings to something.
That's like its only purpose. It's like what is it, like in Wayne's World 2, where they're like, he's like, oh, what do you guys do? He's like, oh, we just walk this giant pane of glass back and forth every day across the street. He's like, for no reason, like, and it's like, the operators of this, the guys going to work every day into this factory just to like make sure that the steel is running and that the chains are moving. And it's like, what do you guys make? He's like, no, our only job is to make sure that these hooks move throughout the afternoon. Back and forth, and that the steel is constantly being heated and poured into this other thing. And I will say the other thing that I thought was kind of funny, I don't know if you made note of that, but like the cult group had like a sniper guy with them, and like that guy was like the worst. Like he had so many opportunities to kill like Cobra with the sniper, and I'm like, what are you waiting on? And then like when he finally had a chance, he took like the worst shot, and I was like, man, like I get that you're trying to build a new world order, but like maybe at least do some sort of like check on like how good people's skill sets are. Like get a better sniper than this guy. Like, man, recruit a military guy or you already got one police officer. Who's this guy? Like, this guy sucks. And again, it's just kind of funny because then the movie just kind of ends. Like it just kind of like, oh, and
he,
I guess we're good
they
here.
ride off on a bike. Yeah.
Again, which is probably evidence and not really, because they're like, hey, you want me to give you a ride to whatever? And he's like, no, I got my ride. I'm like, well, doesn't that ride belong to like one of the cult members? And I feel like, they're still investigating the scene back there. I was like, man, like, how does this guy still have a job? Like, but
and then right before that, there was like the typical, I guess it's like a reminiscent to Die Hard, like the all the action's over and you still got that one guy's like, well, we still got some explaining to do. You weren't following procedure and policy. And then he punches the cop in front of other, I mean, clearly again, not very, HR, there'll be a complaint filed in the sequel, I guess, but he just, punches another cop and be like, oh, I got my ride. And he, takes the witness. And like, where are you going? where were they going? They just left.
Yeah, this movie was all over the place. Like you could tell what Kanan was trying to do. They're trying to cash in on everything and everything else that was kind of happening during this time period. Like it was kind of funny throughout the movie. Like Cobra's got like something to say about like everybody's like health choices. Like he was giving his one buddy like. He's giving him shit for eating like fast food. He's like, maybe you should eat some like fish and rice or something. And then like Bridget Nielsen in the bar is like, she's got those French fries and she's just like smothering them in like ketchup. And he's like, you have a life preserver for those like drowning fries. And I'm just like, these lines aren't really hitting. Like there's your comedic timing for some of these is really not like, I think hitting the same way that like Arnold, would be like, he's dead tired or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like there's that one line at the very beginning where Cobra meets up with or he's like he's engaged with the guy who's holding up the place, and he's like, don't press me, man. He's like, I'll kill her, and I got a bomb. Like he's got like a stick of dynamite or whatever, and he's like, I'll blow this place up, and he's like, that's fine. I don't shop here. And I was again, didn't really land, but I kind of like snickered a little bit because I was like, okay, like, I don't think that didn't really land the way they wanted it to, but okay, like we'll go with that one. And so like, he's got this weird like vibe about him where like nobody wants to work with him. He like constantly is like just giving everybody shit about like what they're eating and all their stuff or whatever. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Like this movie is just like a ball of mess, but it has a lot of cool stunts and sequences. So like, it's a good video rental. Like it's I would probably say it's not like it should not be the main event if you have like a double feature that you're gonna watch. This should probably be the warm up to whatever it is you're gonna watch.
That's funny.
Because you'll get
I was
mood.
gonna go with like that. I'll be like, it needs to be the like it's the opening band.
Act. Yeah.
It's
where they got a couple good songs, but for the most part, you're kind of zoned out, and you're like, I'm gonna go get a beer, like, or I'm gonna go get something while we're waiting for the main event to come on.
You're ordering the pizza during this movie. You're eating the pizza for the main feature,
or you're answering the door when the pizza shows up, and they're like, "What happened?" It's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like,
that's all good.
You didn't miss anything. Like you're fine.
Kill some more cold guys.
I will say the Night Stalker's voice was like kind of weird. Like it was like this weird, deep, like sort of demon-like voice, which I actually thought was kind of cool. But
I thought that too. It seemed like it was like a little.
It was either
forced
dubbed or something. I don't know what it was. There was something going on there, but it was kind of cool. But then he's like in the movie for all of like, I don't know, like 8 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of lines. Yeah,
I mean, he really doesn't.
I mean, he's got the scene in the hospital where he's like he gets in and trying to kill her there. Yeah, you know, I mean, there are some scenes that he's in, but yeah, I mean, for being the main, the bad guy, he doesn't have, you know, the female cop has more lines. You know, when she's with them at the hideout at the motel and on their way, like, you know, she made her, you know, got herself onto the assignment of protecting the witness. But so yeah, she had more lines than the Night Stalker, but still, I mean, his presence is, I think his presence alone is meant to be the intimidating thing, not his. You know, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have chatty one-liners like Bane, or like he doesn't sound eloquent. He's just you know, oh pig, you know, it's gonna kill you, pig, and like he fits the role. He's just a crazy cult leader.
He was a big bulky dude. Like he
was a big dude. He was a big dude.
Yeah. Which was, I was like, oh man, it's cool. Like, you know, I wish there had been a little bit more of that. Like more maybe his presence on screen or whatever. But I mean, it was what it was. Like it's, you know, I think it's, you know, I don't think we have spent a lot of time saying that this is not a top shelf video. But it was fun. Like this is fun. It's got a ton of flaws. I wasn't bored. I think is the important thing, right? Like if you're bored in a movie, then it's like it's not really working. But there were plenty of times where I was like just chewing in like the atmosphere, you know, and just looking at it and looking at the locations. I mean, it's really well filmed. It's got really cool like set pieces, you know. Like again, it's like I don't know what this thing is at the end, but it's cool, you know, and that's that's important. You know, you got to make sure that you have something that keeps you engaged and whatnot. And so from that standpoint, you know, it's cool. But
I mean, the fact that it's like right under an hour and a half. I mean, it.
Oh yeah.
It was. I mean, there was a lot of times you were just kind of like, what's happening, but it was happening fast enough that you're like, you know, you kind of got the main. You know, there's enough that you're catching to get the premise right. It's like, you know, that you're introduced to the hero by the initial hostage situation, and that he's a little kind of off. You know, he's not. You know, doesn't go by the book. Yeah. And then you see the everything of, you know, enough to know about the murders and the killing. There's a witness. She's now a problem that they need, you know, because the cop in the cult's like, she saw your face. We got to, you know. So now, you know, try to kill her, but then she's, you know, gets away, gets protected. Then there's you know, they try to find her, and then there's a big showdown at the end. But it was still. It was. I guess there was enough meat on the bone to, like you said, there was enough to enjoy. Even though, I mean, you know, we're probably clowning on some of the aspects of it, but But yeah, overall for an hour 27 minutes, I mean, yeah, I'd watch it again.
Yeah, no, yeah,
throw it on, But again, I'll throw it on while I'm painting my minis or 3D printing something. This is a movie I would have. I have no problem having in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but yes, but I would, without a doubt, it's not top shelf. It's not top shelf quality.
Right.
But but there's some good lower shelf tequilas and shit also. So I mean, I would get the Cobra brand for for $8 a bottle instead of the Don Julio or whatever. Yeah. If you put it with you put it with the right mix, I mean, you're not going to notice. I mean, so you just let it play in the background while you're doing something else, and you're not going to notice. So.
Yep. No, that's for sure. Yeah, I would agree with all that. That seems completely fair. So one thing I kind of wanted to add into this year, right? Because something that we've had folks on for to work work with us at the shop, and we gotta get help where we can get help, and something that we were talking about, when we were trying to find ideal employees, something that I figured, since we watch so many movies and we want to build a resume of the types of quality skills that people bring to a job. Something that we're going to start building on, and we'll build like a little portfolio of this, is like, if we could pick one person from this movie to work at Top Shelf Video, who would we pick and why would we pick them? And it could be for a variety of reasons, right? This could be somebody that we want to have around the shop because they're interesting. We want to talk to them, or they've got certain skills that we've seen in the movie, and they do certain things by the book. I mean, clearly not Cobra, but and so I think what you and I will both pick somebody from this movie and sort of give a quick just why we think we should hire them, and I'll go first. I'll kick it off, and I'll
okay. I hope you don't steal my shit, because if you do, then I got nothing.
I am definitely not going to steal yours. I would be shocked if I stole yours.
Okay, so real quick, so just to be clear, we're talking about which character in the movie, not the actor. We're talking about the character within the movie,
right?
Okay, all right, go for it. What you got?
So the person that I was going to pick, and I don't know what this person's name is, because I don't think they have a credit in the actual lineup. But when the Night Stalker is in the hospital, and he's going to break in to try to kill the witness, and he ends up being dressed up as a janitor. I think he kills the janitor, and he takes the overalls or whatever. And so he goes up the elevator, and this is this black nurse woman who gets on the elevator, and she's like, "What are you doing in the elevator?" She's like, "That's against sanitary policy or whatever." She's like, "You need to take the freight elevator." And she's like, "I'll allow it for this time." And then they ride up, and then she still gives him shit when they get to the top.
Yeah, it's almost like he's contemplating killing that bitch.
He is, but she's so hard about she's like, "Remember, next time you need to take the freight elevator, and don't be taking. There's sanitation rules and whatever." And she just walks out. Yeah. And the Night Stalker's kind of like, "Okay," and then he leaves. So I would hire that woman because I feel like, we're probably going to have a lot of friends and people that are going to come, and it's like, "Oh, I forgot to rewind the tape," and we're supposed to charge them, for not rewinding the tape, but we'll be like, "It's all right, just if you can do it next time." But then that's going to happen again and again and again, and we'll have our regulars, and if we're not around, and if these people come into the shop and are like, "Hey, Jaime and Eli say it's cool. I know I'm supposed to rewind it, but I kind of forgot this time." But they've always been cool with me. If we had this lady, she'd be like, "No, I'm charging you the $250 because we have rules, and you're supposed to rewind the goddamn tapes, and you didn't rewind the tapes. You need to do that." And I feel like she would be our enforcer for making sure that because I if we were there and we were behind the counter and she's telling our friend this, I'd be like, "I don't know, dude, those are the rules." She's kind of enforcing the rules. So I don't know who the black nurse lady is, but
she's listed as nurse number one.
Nurse number one. Yeah. Nurse number one would probably be a part-time, especially on weekends. I think she'd be really good, because that's when we're going to make our most money on, like, people not rewinding their tapes. And I mean, we could easily make like $20 in, like, not tapes not being rewound or whatever. Right. So
okay, so then she's
nurse number one.
So nurse number one's going to be our weekend rewind enforcer. Okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
She's like our VCR Cobra, I guess.
Okay. So okay, there. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I immediately thought of Detective Monty, just because he's such a stickler with the policies and this and that. Okay. I was also thinking that he would be the enforcer of the rewind policy.
Okay.
So I guess we can put them on alternating shifts. I mean, because you can't have people working a full days. I mean, they'll get burnout. So I think Detective Monty would be more of like, because he's in a suit, so he can handle maybe in a more diplomatic. When the family's there with the kids,
sure.
You don't want to be yelling at the mom and the dad. But he'd be kind of like I think in his authoritative suit detective look, he'd be he's like, hey, we got policies here. I see that Bambi wasn't rewound. Right. If you're what are you teaching your kids here? They're responsible for rewinding.
Yeah, my only counter to that was like, he kind of sounds like he sucks though. Like, I mean, he seems like one of those guys that, like, if you had to work with him, he'd be telling you all these stories that you're like, okay, dude, yeah, sure. Like, okay, yeah, great. Yeah. He was like, when we were at Walmart, we had checklists, of things, and you were like, okay, great, dude. Like, that sounds awesome. You know what? Go make your checklist. Whereas I feel like with nurse number one, she'd be like, I got to get home to my grandchildren because they, this and that. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, what are you guys doing this weekend? And he'd be, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with your choice. Like, we can hire whoever we want. I would definitely not put those two together on a particular shift. I feel like you were saying, we definitely have to offset. Keep them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just to have coverage.
He might be the punishment employee when, like, if we have somebody that, like, that we expect a little bit more out of, and we're kind of disappointed in, when we're like, oh, you're working with fucking Detective Monty. And he's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to work with that guy. That guy kind of, he's so boring. And he's like, yeah, but, he's at least
sucks.
getting, but he's making sure that all the rules and membership fees are getting paid. So maybe you should, like, at least, learn a little something from Detective Monty. But,
I think he'd be the kind of guy that's just reading, like, the employee handbook on break every fucking day.
Right.
Just to make sure
and then questioning. Right. Well, what does this line exactly mean when it says, like, time and a half for, like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I don't know, dude. Like, that's the state made us put in there. Yeah. Like, I mean, we all worked as those employees, right? Like, some of those employees that are good people, but at the same time, you're like, oh, I don't want to hang out with this guy outside of work. Like, as soon as we're done here, it's like, what are you guys doing after work? It's like, nothing.
Yeah.
We're all just going home.
Going home.
And then, like, you're like, oh, we'll meet at what was that taco place that we used to go to that had the real giant
El Taquito
burrito taco? No, was it
El Taquito?
El Taquito? The one that had, like, a pizza-sized tortilla.
I would get the fajita taco before marching practice.
Right. Yeah.
We would run over there, and it was like $3.11.
It's like the original Chipotle before that was even a thing. Like,
yeah. That was the limit. That was, at that time, that was the extent of my Spanish speaking. I just knew to go to the window and be fajita taco grande con todo. That was it. Yep. So it had, like, the lettuce, tomato, cheese, fajitas, beans, rice. Oh man, goddamn! Now I got to go down there. I wonder if that. Well,
I'm just
thinking.
That's a good question. I have no idea. I only remember that because that's where we would go after work since they were open. Like,
they were always open late. They had the little window outside.
Yeah, they were open
like the restaurant might be closed, but they would leave that open.
Right. Yeah.
And we could literally drive across town to go get there.
Yeah, that was the kind of, like, if we had a Detective Monty working with us at Cinemark, we'd be like, he'd be like, hey, what are you guys doing after work? And we're like, nothing. And then we'd be like, I'll meet you at El Taquito, like in maybe like 30 minutes. It's like, all right, cool. And we'd all go, like, our separate ways because we didn't want to be dicks in front of him. But I don't know. Detective Monty is, he's all right guy. But, I don't want to hang out with him after work. Anyway, so I guess for what we need around the shop with regards to merch, I definitely feel like this movie would be just fine on a DVD. I mean, honestly, this DVD that I have here is more than fine. I don't know if we need like really a Blu-ray. This is one of those old DVDs too that has like the whole like the little clip thing here on the side.
Oh, right.
That you have to kind of snap into place. So this is like early years of DVDs. Even though I'm pretty sure that there's probably like a nice Blu-ray or whatever. Which if we had a Blu-ray and a DVD of this, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
But we definitely have to have the poster for this. For this in the shop. I want to say though, there was a really cool standee for this for video stores, and I say that because I want to say that somebody was selling one, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and then it was going for like. Well, there's one here on eBay for $650.
Damn.
It's
so what is it? Just a full-size Stallone?
It's that. Well, no, it's that poster, but it's like 3D offset, cut.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Where he's like holding the gun, and the crime's a disease is meet the cure.
Damn.
And it's cool. It's like an awesome like looking video store standee, but like $650. I don't know about that, but
yeah, no, that person knows what they got. I mean, that's
this collector quality stuff. I mean, this thing stands like what is this? About 65 inches tall, so it's pretty big. Like this thing, but I think we could afford that for the video store with our fake money. I would definitely want the standee for this. I think it would be awesome in the store.
Yeah. I can't think of a whole lot of merch, to be honest. I mean, unless there was like some special editions Hot Wheels that had the car. But I mean, other than that, I mean,
there were a couple things. Like I would say, like maybe the knife from the Night Stalker, like that was kind of cool. You see those a lot at like conventions, which is like the crazy shaped knife that has like a.
It's almost like a brass knuckles with the spikes on it kind of look.
I can see that with like a laser engraved like Top Shelf Video, or even a Cobra thing, or like Top Shelf Video is like the cure for your disease. If he's the cure, then Top Shelf Video is the vaccine for the cure of crime, and then like it's like laser engraved on the knife or whatever. I mean, we could have something like that, but yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, outside of, I don't know, like the sunglasses maybe, but they're just kind of sunglasses,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but it's all about packaging, and I mean, it's all about packaging. I mean, if you were to get your standard aviator glasses and just instead of a picture of Tom Cruise on Top Gun, it's just, the Cobra, Cobra brand sunglasses. I mean,
there wasn't a lot of, like, everything was just kind of, it was so all over the place that it's like, the poster almost makes it feel like there's so much more here that there really isn't. Like, he eventually has that gun. Which doesn't really show up till the last.
He doesn't use it till they're at the motel.
Yeah, the last act of the movie. So
and
like the last 20 minutes.
And when they're the big fight against all of the cultists on motorcycles, and it's basically him and his partner. Yeah, because the cop was the female cop was on the other team. She switched teams when the bikers showed up. So it was just him and Detective Gonzalez.
Yeah. So pretty much just like we definitely want to have the poster, maybe the knife. Definitely want the standee if we can get it because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of other merch that I can think of. Like again, like I don't know why I get this confused with Sharky's Machine, which I want to say is even older than this. This movie came out in '86, so. Sharky's Machine was probably early 80s or late 70s.
I would guess late 70s, but
I mean, Smoking the Bandit was like 80s, right? Like early 80s, I think. But I don't know why. Like
81. Okay.
What's that? Sharky's Machine.
Sharky's Machine, 81.
Okay, yeah. I guess like that was those early days of like cops that just can't be controlled, or whatever. Or yeah, I don't know if we can work in the zombie squad. I mean, I know we didn't really talk about that too much. I don't know what the fuck a zombie squad is, other than like, I remember them kind of saying, you guys are all like the cops that nobody wants to work with. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why wouldn't you just fire them? Like, if they can't do their job, like, why are you demoting them to or creating an entire department of people you don't want to work with? That sounds terrible. Like,
I mean,
especially the fact that they work
seemed
for
like
the
it was
people.
just those two guys. I mean, the zombie squad. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you could make like a two set, like a Funko Pop head, have one Stallone with glasses and the other guy just looks like a regular detective, and just the zombie squad,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good with just the poster on the window. I mean, be honest.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Poster, standee. I think that definitely will cover it. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, this is fun. It was a good one. As far as like entertaining value, and I think it's a good way to kick off like this third season, just because, I want to say this is very much like you said. It checks all the boxes of like, it's an hour and a half. It's constantly moving. It's got the big movie star of the '80s. Like, there's more than enough there to keep you entertained, and I feel like in this third season, I think we want to hit back on some of the movies that really entertained us in that way. Like I feel like this year is like the 40th year for lots of movies that we grew up with, which would have been prime real estate for us, because I would have been like 10 or 11, you would have been like 13, 14. Marty would have been, about 7 or 8. And so like, we were right in that age where like we could understand, comprehend everything. We were like, we were absorbing so much at that time period, that these movies, like, Cobra was out, you had your Commandos, Transformers, the movie, like, I mean, Revenge of the Ninja, all those, all the, like, almost like the peak of video store era may have been like 1986, or probably anywhere between like 1984 and 1988. It was probably like as high as the video store was ever going to get before Blockbuster kind of came in the 90s and sort of like steamrolled the whole thing and sort of changed the dynamics of like how the video store would kind of work going forward. And I mean, if you're thinking about it from a future standpoint, I mean, it was what eventually would become streaming, right? Which is like, we want to make the big titles available, and only the big titles available. And let's make sure that those are always available, which is kind of what streaming has done. But these little nuggets, like Cobra and some of these other movies, like, they kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I think it's good to talk about them, it's good to like make sure that people know that they were out there and they are part of the lexicon of what made up the video store era. And also like the just, I would say, the genre of like action in the 80s before we could sort of shifted away to where we are now, right? Like we were saying earlier, which is like, I guess you'll really think, you won't think of Canon films, or we won't have like a brand much like Canon films in the way that we did back then. We'll have our Marvels. I mean, I guess the only thing I could say is like maybe A24 and places like that, where people will say, oh, that's an A24 movie.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be weird, or it's going to be different or something. But even then, I don't know if that really falls into the same category of Canon. But I mean, it's probably the closest thing, maybe, to have that. But yeah, no, this was fun. I like to kick off this way. We should remind everybody, I guess, if you have suggestions, recommendations, comments, feedback, you can always shoot us an email at topshelfvideopodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, where we are primarily, where we post most of our updates and things there. You can always go to our website, topshelfvideo.com, and you can find all the episodes there. We're working on building that up. I need to update that with a couple things, maybe some new art, some new imagery and background stuff. But I think there's some other stuff that we're going to want to try to do eventually that we'll talk about a little bit later once we kind of get our grounding, and get a little bit of footing on some of those things. I think that'll be fun. But yeah, if you want to reach out, I mean, we're also on Bluesky. I probably eventually need to set up Facebook, like a Facebook group for this. You can find us on Discord if you want to go to the Dallas VHS swap community. Myself and most of us are in here, and we basically are logging and talking about movies and stuff like that all the time. So you can always find us in a couple of these spots. But
have you been? I'm sorry. Have you been playing videos on? I know there was a good stretch there where you were like streaming movies, like you would when you were working, you would just kind of have some shit playing in the background, and people would I remember seeing you see people chatting about it and stuff, and I always thought that was cool, I didn't. There was a lot of times where like either it was my weekend with my boy, so I wouldn't jump in, but I'm previously at the last house that I was at before we moved here. I remember I was trying to make an effort to kind of jump in there if I saw you online, just to kind of see what the movie was and kind of just see people chatting. It was pretty cool what you've created with that Discord group. It's really something that if you're interested to jump in there.
We'll still stream some movies every now and then. I'll pull something random off the shelf and. I think the last thing we watched, and you're right. Like I think it was maybe it was like a Saturday night or something where I was just in here and doing some 3D modeling and some work on some projects that I was working on. But I think we were watching like some 90s like vampire. I think it was called like Vampirella or something like that. Like I don't know if it was like not like the movie host, but. I threw that on and it was, and honestly, I was testing out a couple things as well too. And it worked out pretty well, but I mean, we definitely watch some of these movies that we're talking about. We'll like throw them on and just kind of chat every now and then. And you and I have had to watch this way as well too. There's been, like we said, there's not always a streaming service that will have some of these movies that we're talking about. So I'll load it into my VCR and you and I will watch a movie together on a VCR and be able to watch it in real time together, so we can chat about it later, but we can also chat about it in real time. And that's kind of made Discord like a nice alternative from that sense. I know there's some crap going on with, I think, like age verification that they want to do now, like where if you change settings or whatever, but I don't think that will apply to us. I think, thankfully, as long as I don't do any sort of restriction on our server, and make it age restriction, then I don't think it applies to anything we're doing here. So hopefully that doesn't become an issue. But I'll always update in there if we have to shift where we're kind of doing stuff or whatever. But we'll figure it out. But yeah, we got lots of places where you can reach out to us. We'd love to get some feedback, and you can obviously like wherever you listen to your podcast is generally where you're going to find us on Spotify, Apple, and we work through Podbean, and then that will push out to I think like Amazon Prime and a bunch of other places. So if you just look us up on wherever you have a streaming app, even YouTube and a couple other places online, I think there's like some online apps attached to TVs. You can just look up podcasts and you might actually find us. So but yeah, give us a listen, give us a like, give us a review, give us a subscribe, all that stuff that people do, I guess. But yeah, well no, we gotta get back to it. We gotta organize some shelves, put some stuff away. But we've got some more movies on the docket that we need to get to here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and just go break out some assignments. I might go give nurse number 1 a call to let her know that she's probably gonna have a shift this upcoming weekend. If you don't mind, I'd rather just leave Detective Monty on maybe weekdays. That way
he's part-time. We can just give him a
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
he can just pick up shifts. He's a will call.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. We can do that for like more midweek whenever you and I don't need to be around. But let's go ahead and get back to our customers up front, and we will catch everybody at the next work shift.
All right then. See ya.
All right, later.